What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm Brian Costa, and today we have a fantastic episode in store for you guys. Joining me on the show today is a good longtime friend of mine. I actually met him last year, and I'll get over to introducing him in just a sec. But, we have an amazing show in store for you guys. We're going to be talking the latest in the Brady Belichick drama. We're going to be talking, about a bunch of the storylines that are, coming up in this Brady Belichick, return game, as well as the Super Bowl halftime show and so many other great stories. But first of all, my guest on the show today, I met him working at the Sports Network, if I'm correct. And from there, we were able to, grow a relationship, and we've still been good friends into this year. So he's currently a senior at Bryant University. So without any further ado, welcome to the show, Kyle Finn. Kyle, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Thank you for having me, my man.
Dude, so happy to have you on. So before we get into it, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
My name is Kyle Finn, 21 years old, communications major, psych concentration, management and marketing minor. I'm from North Providence, Rhode Island, originally born from Boston, but moved to RI when I was like 3. So I've been around my whole life.
Yeah. You're around the area, pretty close to Bryant in general, kind of growing up. But so, I'm really glad to have you on, as you are, pretty much in on the local scene of sports around here. So can't wait to get into it with you today. So first things first, I talked about it on my live show last night with Tyler Stringfellow. Had a great episode with him. Can't wait. If you guys listened to that, it was a great time there. But we were able to talk about the whole drama surrounding this Brady Belichick game. And more specifically, we were talking about the recent book from Seth Wickersham that's going to be coming out, titled "It's Better to Be Feared." I don't know if you've heard about this book and some of the allegations coming throughout it. It's pretty alarming.
I did see an article on ESPN. I don't know if you might have saw this. They had it posted on their Twitter, Facebook, but you can look it up regarding this.
Yeah,
they go pretty in depth. I'd probably say about a good 10%. So it gets you interested enough to where you want to read, like, knowing the big events that happened, like Deflategate, Spygate, all those types of things, the 3 Super Bowls, early and now.
No, there were a ton of great stories. One of them that really caught my eye that I talked about last night was Bill O'Brien allegedly trying to be fired from the Houston Texans so we could come back to New England and become the heir apparent here. That one was a ridiculous story when I heard that coming out. So I wanted to talk about that, and I did last night. But one of the recent developments in the story is that Tom Brady's actually responded to this book, and he's come out saying that, his breakup from the Patriots and him saying goodbye to Bill Belichick, it's being reported as being a lot uglier than it actually was. He, in Seth Wickersham's book, it's being said that Brady wanted a in-person goodbye, and Belichick, essentially refused and did it on the phone.
Yeah, the phone call.
Yeah, and apparently it's now coming out that Belichick did refer to Brady as the GOAT during this phone call. He actually was very complimentary of him, but a lot of people were saying, why the heck was Bill Belichick on a phone call? Why was he acting like this at this historic of a time? And it had a lot of people wondering why he'd want to do something like this. And it's since come out that, Brady was okay with this. He was fine with the way this went down. So there's a chance that he may have wanted a call, or that he may have wanted to meet in person, but he was fine either way. So, when you heard this info, just without the knowledge of Brady's side, how did you feel about this?
Belichick is just a weird guy. There's just no other way to say it. I mean, he just lives, sleeps, eats football.
Yeah.
When the games happen, like in season, from preseason till when the Super Bowl happens, if they do make it that far, basically for almost half of his year, he's living at the stadium to, succeed as the head coach of the Patriots. And his method has worked for 20 years. I mean, there's a reason why we have 6 Super Bowls, banners hanging up at Gillette, but he's just that dedicated into it. No other coach that at least I know who is as dedicated as him, sleeping in the stadium, just having that mindset of just playing football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Belichick obviously is insanely, dedicated to the craft, and you'll never be able to take that away from him. But when we're as a Pats fan, and obviously growing up and being a fan of Brady, to see a possible relationship end like this was kind of frustrating for me, especially after all they had been through. But it seems that Brady was okay with the way it ended, so I am glad with that. But this is going to be an amazing game on Sunday night. Regardless of how the score ends up, these storylines are going to be out of this world. I don't know if you've seen, ESPN this week has been ridiculous. It's like this Brady Belichick game. It's gone from being, there are always sports stories that are going to dominate the news. And this is what this show is based on. We talk sports on Down to the Wire. It's what we do. But this has become a national news story. This is any news station that you turn on, regardless of what they talk about. It could be politics that you turn on, and that's it. And that would be the typical news channel. They're talking about this game because they know how monumental it is. It's crazy.
Well, the Patriots know worldwide. The 6 Super Bowls that they have been in have been some of the most watched ones.
Yeah.
Just happened to be a timing. The first one was at 9/11. So this one was, big emotionally, just, for the country, just coming together. Carolina wasn't really that big, that second one, but the Eagles one was a huge one because they went back to back, and they're the last team so far that has gone back to back. No one else has done it in a while.
Yeah, I mean, watch out for the Tampa Bay Bucks this year. Brady might be the one to finally break that. But I am so excited for this game. It's going to be an absolute it's going to dominate all the headlines. What I'm wondering though is, how crazy is the reception for Brady going to be? Obviously Pats fans love Tom Brady. And in my opinion, I think the stadium is going to be a sea of that pewter orange color, maybe the red and the white Bucs jerseys, but I think it is going to essentially feel like a Tampa Bay Bucs game in Raymond James Stadium on Sunday night.
That's not at Raymond James.
It's going to feel like
it's going to feel like it.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to feel like it's at Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you because I went to Derek Jeter's last game at Fenway Park. This was his last game ever. So besides the 25% of Yankees fans that usually come up, the 75% of Red Sox fans that were there, they gave him a standing ovation. You probably had seen the video before. They did it on national TV.
Oh, yeah.
They're 15 minutes standing ovation at his main rival stadium. I expect the same thing to happen to Tom Brady.
But Jeter was always a rival, though. Jeter was always the antithesis of, the Red Sox. There was never a time where, obviously people respected Jeter, but there was never really a time where Boston was like, oh, we can root for this guy. We can do stuff like that. Because he was always, the Red Sox killer. With Brady, he was, the guy. He was the hero in Boston. And now it's a little bit different. It's more like Brett Favre, I think, coming back to the Packers, where there was definitely some animosity with that because of the whole retirement talk that he went through. And it's, Derek Jeter had, kind of a storybook ending to his career. He was able to walk off into the sunset. No real controversies that were that crazy on him. Brady, unfortunately, has a pretty clean reputation, off the field as well, similar to Jeter's. But his divorce from the Patriots is, it's been, kind of recorded now as being, not the calmest and easiest of departures.
Well, the reason why I think Patriots fans are the reason why I'm saying that though is because this just happened so recently. It's kind of like when you rip the Band-Aid off, like it's painful. It's kind of like that.
Oh, it's painful.
I think so. Like it's affecting a lot of the Patriots fans, like because as much as history is as he's provided, along with Gronkowski, I expect him to get a big ovation too, though. But just I should see, a few people booing because, people weren't really happy with it because they mostly did not know the behind the scenes things.
Yeah.
And because most people don't really focus on how much Brady makes. He makes in the single millions. It's not like he's making double digit millions with 10, 20. He's only getting 7 per year that he was able to get. And he was also being
forced to take pay cuts. He was.
Well, he also did it willingly too, because he's married to Giselle. She has a $300 million network. Just dressing in bathing suits on a beach in a hot setting and just almost posing nude for a camera. I mean, that's basically what she does. It's facts. I don't know how else to explain to you.
Oh my God.
But
bro.
He doesn't have to worry about the money.
She is kind of the breadwinner of the household. He was able to always,
and he also has his own businesses.
Exactly. He has other ways to make
He just
money.
came out with a clothing line.
You're right. and this isn't like that TB12 clothing line either, where it's like t-shirts and stuff. No, he's wearing this is full on like runway, red carpet kind of clothes. So I'm just That's ridiculous.
So you can technically say that he has 2 clothing lines.
Yeah, true. It's actually crazy, but there's so many storylines just going into this. One I saw on ESPN was that I believe since Brady has come into the league, the name Brady in Massachusetts, like about over 3,000 kids have been named Brady between 2002 and 2019. Before that, the name Brady wasn't even in the top 100 names in Massachusetts. It just shows how much of an effect that he had on the organization and just on the region in general. He completely defined this region.
I want to know. I want to meet the person who came up with that idea. I'll be honest, like I never would have came up with that idea. Like, yeah, I want to know how many kids have been named Brady while Brady was quarterback. Like, why would anyone think that?
It's just a quick census and kind of like research of birth certificates.
But there's just a lot of paperwork you gotta do. Like I'm doing it right now in my courses. And like even just as this is practice, it's so hard. Like I can't imagine doing this as
it can't be easy.
Job.
Oh no, by no means would it be an easy task. But I mean, there are so many storylines going into this game that I can't even begin to, unravel and, kind of pick apart. Obviously people are always looking at, oh, Brady versus Belichick. And that's been the entire lead up to this game. But there are so many other storylines that are not getting enough attention coming into here. One of them that you mentioned was the return of Rob Gronkowski. Now, while Tom Brady was the love of many Patriots fans, Gronk was always my favorite. I always loved Brady, but there was something about Rob Gronkowski. I loved the way he played. I loved him being just a great personality off the field. I also went to one of his camps when I was 12, and I got to meet him, when he was coming off a broken arm. So it was cool being able to actually meet a tight end for the Patriots, who's now become the greatest tight end of all time. But I don't know if you've noticed this, but Gronk hasn't exactly gotten the same, level of respect coming back that Brady has. There are obviously the people that still love him, including myself. I still love Rob Gronkowski. But a lot more people see his comeback as kind of a little bit of a villainary arc, and a little bit villainous, because Gronkowski after the season where we won the Super Bowl against the Rams went out retiring. He did a press conference where he was like choked up and in tears talking about how he couldn't play the game of football anymore because it was hurting his body. He didn't think he wanted to he wanted to at least live a life later on down the road.
Yeah, that was when he established his partnership with the I think it was with the what is it?
CBD.
It's like CBD. That's a dispensary CBD type of stuff. Because he literally said in the conference, it was kind of more like, even though I'm retiring, I'm getting this new sponsor deal.
and like honestly, when he retired like that, I was like I love Gronk, and I'm going to miss him seriously, and I wish he could continue to do it. But when I saw that press conference, I was like, man, the man had to go. He had to, I was like, you know what? It's bigger than football at that point. This man wants to enjoy his life, and I felt bad for him. Then when Brady goes to Tampa, Gronk's kind of like spring chicken and is like, oh, I want to come back and I want to play football again. I'm like, dude, you thought you didn't think you're going to be able to walk if you played another snap, and just because you have a new opportunity, that I think is what has turned a lot of people away from Rob Gronkowski as like that fan favorite guy, and really made people question his loyalty to an organization, because he did have a year left on his contract.
I gotta be honest though, I think the reason why he's been acting like this is because of his girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah.
What's up with his girlfriend?
I don't know though, but he's just like been so much of a softer player. Like he winding him playing when the Patriots were like, oh yeah, we're gonna trade you to Detroit. He literally just told him straight up like,
I'll retire.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna retire. I mean, like, I can't blame.
It's Detroit.
Him. I can't blame him though. But like, is there not a better way to handle that situation than just acting like impulsively?
I mean, I think I agree with you. It was very impulsive for him to make a threat like that. And I think to just say like, oh, I can only play with Tom Brady, looking back on it in retrospect, is kind of
that just makes you look selfish. It
makes
you look like you need him in order to be successful.
And I would say,
if you went to another quarterback, you would be bad.
And I would say this if he got traded to any of the other 30 teams besides Detroit. Detroit, in my mind, is an absolute cluster. You know what? It is a hellhole.
The Jets are turning into
battling. Oh, New York's always been a mess too. Like, don't get me wrong.
Jacksonville.
The one thing you can say about New York though, and I don't like saying this whatsoever, is at least you have the city, you have the atmosphere in New York, and you could be like, okay, I'm a football player too, and you have great marketing opportunities. Detroit's on fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say in New York, you could just either watch the Yankees or the Rangers. I don't know, just any other team that's not the Jets, and just enjoy life.
And you can make your millions.
Just forget that football exists.
You can make your millions. You can half-ass it on the field, and you probably won't get that harsh of a treatment. The Giants, there's obviously the increased expectations. Detroit, they expect nothing of you. That kid I had on the show last night, and good friend now, Tyler Stringfellow. He was talking about Detroit, being like where you go to end your career. I agree with that in the sense of it's where you go if you want to make sure that you retire. Now, there are obviously locations that you can go if you want to have your swan song. Tampa Bay is now looking like one of those locations, but you can also look to the Arizona Cardinals, where for many years a bunch of washed up vets were going there to kind of end their careers. Guys I think of are Kurt Warner, Emmitt Smith, just to name a few. And my God, but Detroit, man, it is a nightmare. We also talked last night about Matthew Stafford and how much they screwed his career over. That's a nightmare in and of itself. So,
well, listen, now we're knowing the true Matt Stafford.
No, Matt Stafford's great.
I love this Matt. No, but I'm liking this one a lot more. He's just such a happier guy because he knows he's succeeding now that he has the right tools.
100%.
It's sad it took him having to be traded in order for them to figure it out. I feel so that the Detroit Lions just need to get their head out of their butt.
They need to I think they just need to demolish Ford Field and just get the heck out of Michigan.
Yeah,
at this point. There's something about that city.
Since they hosted what was it, Super Bowl 40, that was their Super Bowl 40. Almost it's 90% losing seasons.
It's been downhill ever since. I mean, like Detroit just cannot do it. I mean, listen, they're a historic franchise, but we're forced to watch them on Thanksgiving. I can't blame any other star for, wanting to just get the heck out of there. That place is a hellhole. But, so I don't blame Gronk exactly for trying to get the heck out of there. But, that was one of the storylines that I'm going to be excited to see when he comes back. I guess he is listed as doubtful for the game, so we'll see if he, even gets on the field. But, even if he doesn't, he'll get a reception from the fans.
I still think he will play. He'll play a few. Like if the game's like really close, if somehow it is, I don't expect
Brady will bring him in.
Yeah, just to be extra. Well, I mean, like, they want to make the crowd happy too.
Oh, yeah.
But like they want to make sure they win this game because, they're not really happy that they lost to the Rams. Granted, the Rams are the better team.
Yeah.
Both defensively and on the offense side, even though Brady has been pretty impressive this year with a 10-2 ratio for touchdowns, interceptions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Brady's actually looked pretty solid this year. I mean, he did have the 2 picks against the Rams, but he has had, some solid offensive games this year. One of the, piggybacking off of that, one of the other big stories, surrounding Brady going into this game that, isn't really being talked about as much. I've seen it, kind of become more and more frequent in the news as we're getting closer to the game. Tom Brady's 67 yards away from passing the all-time passing yards record set by Drew Brees. He might be able to do that on his first series if everything goes according to plan. So, and the fact that he's going to do this in front of the fans that he had entertained for years, there is something poetic about it. I thought the poetic ending for Tom Brady was going to be, and I explained it last night, was, Brady's going to, Brady started as this game manager, had Belichick help him get through those first couple Super Bowls. Brady, and then exploded into his prime and was great for all those years. And then towards the end, it looked like Brady was starting to come back down, and Belichick was going to get him to the finish line, and that was going to be the career of Tom Brady. That's what it looked like for a while. But now the storybook is that Tom Brady's going to march into Foxborough looking almost as good as ever, and he might break the passing yards record and have 400 yards to spare as well.
I'm going to the game on Sunday.
You are?
Yes.
That's going to be awesome, dude. How pumped are you?
I'm very excited. I just want to see a close game. Like, kind of like how like the Ravens Chiefs games was, and also even like how the Bengals game was last night. That was honestly last second. That would just make the game even more fantastic. But I just don't have the expectation.
I'll say this, that to just kind of a little tangent there. I thought that was going to be a nightmare of a game for Thursday Night Football. That turned into a great game.
Are we talking about in terms of low scoring or just a blowout?
Just the teams involved. I mean, Jaguars, Bengals, I don't think you could ask for a worse primetime matchup.
But here's the thing, though. The teams that are bad I enjoyed those games. I mean, one of the greatest football games ever that's not really talked about at all was the Cleveland Browns versus the Lions.
Okay, yeah.
You remember that game? It
Brady
was
Quinn
like,
versus Matt
yeah,
Stafford.
it was like 40-40. It was crazy.
It was a shootout.
It was one of the highest scoring NFL games ever in their history.
Yeah.
It was just such a great, but it was teams that were like 1 win and like 13 losses.
It was
their seasons were done.
Yeah, it was crazy. You know, I forgot about that game. That game was so cool too. Didn't Stafford like dislocate his shoulder too on a play? Remember, like, and then he like dove back into the end
final
zone.
one.
Yeah, didn't he throw a touchdown pass on a bad shoulder?
Yeah, it was the last one to win the game because they were losing. Cleveland got a penalty that extended the game for one extra down when the time runs out, and it was on a roughing the passer penalty.
Yeah,
literally, if they didn't rough the passer and just let it go out of the back of the end zone, or however it ended, because nobody remembers the original ending.
Yeah.
They would have.
Browns would have won.
They would have walked out of there, happy and everything. They got a win to their pathetic and horrible season. But instead, they walked out like even bigger losers than they were.
Yeah. I forgot about that game. That was actually a very good football game. I'm glad that you're able to recall that. But, so I hope that it is a similar game like that where, obviously the Jags Bengals game was a good game because they're kind of both bad teams. But I'm hoping that this Patriots Bucks game is respectable in all counts. Now, another one of the final big storylines that I think is not going that really hasn't been talked about nearly as much is Antonio Brown's return to New England. This one I can't believe hasn't been talked about more. And obviously it's because Brady's coming to town. That's going to dominate all the headlines. But people are just ignoring the fact that Antonio Brown lost his mind 2 years ago in 2019. The man.
It was more when he was on the Raiders. It's just his responsibility and actions were applied when he got onto the Patriots because Roger Goodell and everyone knew how, big of a receiver Antonio Brown is, and pairing him up with Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Yeah.
That's a big damage along with already having Rob Gronkowski. I mean, granted, he's not at 100% though, but 75% Rob Gronkowski is still pretty good.
But still pretty solid.
But and they were just so deadly. And plus that defense that year, they had 30 interceptions.
Yeah.
They would have won the Super Bowl. They would have went back to back.
Yeah, no,
because that was the year the Chiefs won.
Yeah, they were. That was a great defense that we had that year. I mean, they were.
It's sad we lost in the to the Titans.
Yeah, that I wish Brady could have had a better ending than that in New England. I really do.
Yeah, pick six. No, not pick six. It was
a pick six.
It was.
Yeah, it was a pick six.
Oh, that's so much. But it was to his former player.
It was to Logan Ryan.
Yeah, Logan Ryan.
And then, do you remember the rumors that Brady was going to go to the Titans next year? I was like, there's no way. There's no way he's going to go to them.
No, he went. He's someone that has respect for himself. He's handled the Spygate and the Deflategate allegations pretty well. I don't think that would have been like a pretty scummy move by him.
Yeah, that would
be pretty disrespectful.
That would have been
either
bad.
That or the Jets. I mean, the Jets or the Giants. Any of the divisions, the people that beat us in the Super Bowl,
and there would have been no reason for him to go there though, because those teams are both just atrocious.
But then again, Tom Brady was able to convince other people and hire a new coach and turned a 7-9 team that originally had Jameis Winston that went 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Ironic because of the TV show.
My God.
That actually would be a good documentary. That man literally threw blind for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. Unfortunately, had 30 interceptions too, but still getting 30 touchdowns on 5,000 yards. Never been done before in NFL history.
It's not bad at all. I mean, it definitely was one of the more interesting seasons I've ever seen in NFL history. But Antonio Brown coming back. I mean, I remember this man with the Raiders. He flew into training camp on a hot air balloon. He got frostbite on his feet and cryotherapy.
He would come up in a freaky outfit every practice.
Yeah, and I remember. And then, do you remember the phone call that he recorded of when he was getting cut from the Raiders?
Yeah, he ran out into his backyard.
Yeah, it was like, "I'm free. Yeah, I'm free." I'm like,
bro, that man was literally quoting MLK. Like, well, come on, man. That's not the same situation.
It was bad.
You definitely cannot be shouting that out loud.
No,
that's so disrespectful.
It was actually atrocious. I was like, this is like disgusting what he's doing right now. But then he went to the Patriots. I was like, okay, the lesser of two evils. Hopefully he can help lead us to something. And
the one thing I did like though is he did help us out with a very key win because we would always lose in Miami. when we would play there when it was hot weather.
So he just helped us beat Miami, is what you're saying.
Even though Miami screwed us in the end when we had the last home games. So it would have been important if we had Antonio Brown again for that last game. Maybe that game-winning touchdown with 2 seconds to go to kick us out of the playoffs maybe would have helped us. Well, we were still in the playoffs still, but we had the bye.
Yeah,
we would have been. That made us go to the wild card round.
Yeah, just so many things went wrong in that game. It's just still. I can't believe it.
I think they just got too overconfident.
Yeah, they really did.
Like they just seemed pretty late. Brady was very short, and so I was thinking he would get. Nothing is for granted.
Yeah,
nothing is for granted in the NFL. Well, we're gonna be talking about MLB in a little bit though, but like that's also another one where we see a lot of upsets because there's just no time limit.
Oh, absolutely. There's literally no time limit, but. I think that's a good area for us to kind of pump the brakes on the Brady Belichick talk. That there's so many stories going into it, and I can't wait to recap it as well after that all goes down, because I can only imagine that the storylines are going to be even more hectic once it goes down. Just once we finally, once the clock hits 0. So I will be excited for that. But one other big storyline that is going on in NFL news is the halftime performance for the Super Bowl. What is it now? 57 or 56?
56.
Yeah, it's 56.
55 happened last year.
Yeah, I the freaking Roman numerals get me. I'm sorry. I'm kind of an idiot with that. But the halftime performers for Super Bowl 56 were just announced, and it's actually going to be a group performance. It's going to be Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Snoop Dogg all performing in LA. And I'm not going to lie to you. Some of these make sense, but some of these I'm kind of shaking my head here. Now, obviously Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Kendrick, all make sense for California. They all have roots there. Mary J. Blige, I can probably say is I'm not too sure about her whereabouts, but I think she's fairly close to the West Coast as well. Eminem, though, is from Michigan.
Yeah, I was gonna, but I think they also included Mary J. Blige. But I mean, like, she does have a nice track record, though. But I feel like they just included her for woman empowerment thing because they are.
Because Mary J. Blige is good, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like the whole point. I mean, like when you have them and then like have her on stage, like they're trying to promote the female referees up. So I mean, like you also got to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like the most I just learned this the other day. The most watched YouTube video on the NFL page is of J-Lo and Shakira at like 300 million. So like,
that's so disappointing. That's so disappointing for our for just society in general. Not because of J-Lo and like just that performance. I'm sorry, was just an underwhelming performance in general.
It wasn't a good performance in terms of like actual talent, though. It was a good performance because there were like 90% of the population watching on TV was male, and they got bricked up probably.
Oh my God, shut up.
I don't know how else to explain it. They like literally J-Lo was twerking on, who is it, J Balvin or something?
I have no idea. I have no idea who these artists are at this point.
Like what they knew damn well what the hell they were doing. The NFL is full of sick pervs.
They really are. But oh my God. But yeah, so now going to this halftime show. Obviously, last year in Tampa, they only did one artist. They had The Weeknd, and obviously The Weeknd, who's
a very good artist. I love this performance,
and he's huge. And in my opinion, he killed at the halftime show. So
the one complaint I did have about it though is it was very difficult hearing him. They should have turned up his microphone volume. I had to turn up my TV volume in order to hear him.
Yeah,
but I was more shaking my house with the loud bass and beat and everything. Than hearing his voice.
Yeah. My opinion, though, I thought it was a very good show. I thought he did a great job, but I agree. But I do agree with that sound quality. That's not really on him, though. That's just on the people. That's just on
that's on CBS and the NFL.
Exactly. That's on the production itself. But Kendrick, I think, will do a good job live. Snoop has performed Gin and Juice live at this point. How many times he'll kill that? Eminem, for what it's worth, whether you want to say he's outdated or not, can still
Eminem's the GOAT of rapping. I've never seen a man rap, especially from Detroit. I mean, most of these rappers nowadays that are from Atlanta and Houston, Chicago, y'all trash.
Come on.
You guys are all trash. Like there is like maybe 5% of them out there that are like great potential. Everyone else is just a copycat.
Bro, how the hell can you say Eminem is the GOAT when freaking Kendrick is in the performance with him? Kendrick's at the show.
Respect your elders, as I say.
Kendrick's turning into an elder.
No, but like if we're talking on like that kind of level, Eminem's like on grandpa level.
Yeah, well,
like Eminem is known by everybody. Kendrick, not so much. Like if I showed my grandfather who Kendrick Lamar is, he would probably say I couldn't even tell you what he would have no idea.
He'd have no idea.
He would have thought it would be Michael Vick back in like 05.
Oh, Jesus
like, you know,
Christ.
the cornrows and everything.
Oh my God.
What? Because he watches football.
Oh, Jesus.
And the cornrows were actually big in 2005. That seemed to be the way back then.
Interesting. Yeah. But, you know, the one thing that I will say is I was listening to another WJMO show, The Oven, with which is a great show here. Brian highly recommended. They were talking about Dr. Dre performing. And listen, Dr. Dre obviously has amazing credentials as both an artist and as a producer. He's amazing at what he does.
And as a businessman.
As a businessman with beats and everything he does too. But I don't know if he's necessarily the greatest guy to have for a live performance. You know, in a scene like this, if you got him like in like a concert hall with people that, you know, appreciate his music and do everything like that, I think it'd be good. But for the Super Bowl, where, you know, it's just a bunch of like, the stands are usually filled with just a bunch of snobby celebrities and people that have money at this point now anyways, I don't know if he's going to be the guy that you really get out there to really push the audience. Now, he could be, and you know, I like maybe the pairing of him and Eminem could work together because they'll play some of their hits that they have with each other. But I don't know how he's gonna be able to stand alone during this.
Well, the Generation Z generation, you know, 18 to 29.
Yeah, we've
grown up with Kendrick.
Yeah,
I mean, my first album was 2012 with Mad City.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like his best album.
Yeah.
And undoubtedly, like, there's nothing you can do to change my mind. You
don't
all the arguments you can.
You don't like To Pimp a Butterfly better?
Well, the reason why I give this the same treatment to every artist. The album that gets me into
it gets you hooked.
Because then that's how you discover the rest of your music. Okay. So, but if you were presented trash music, like Lil Pump, for example, like his music's trash.
Yeah.
Like he's horrible, but like
he's awful.
Yeah. So
he has one good line in my one good bar in my opinion. No. Have you've heard "Welcome to the Party" by French Montana, right? I'll play it for you afterwards.
I just will get copyright.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna play it on here. And listen, it's rapping. So it's not for everybody. But in my opinion, like I'm not the biggest fan of Lil Pump. He kills on that verse. It's the one verse where he kills. Everything else I think is trash.
Literally the definition of a one-hit wonder.
I will have to show it to you because you will not believe it's him rapping. You're gonna be like, who the heck is this? So
is it actual bars?
It's kind of sick. I mean, it's a hype track, but it's actually
if it's good enough, I'll put it into my playlist.
I'll show it to you once we're done with this. But you know, this idea of a halftime show, I remember talking about it last year when the Weeknd was announced as the halftime performance in Super Bowl 55. So I'm gonna ask this question to you now. If you had a dream scenario for a Super Bowl halftime performer, who would it be? The person could be living or dead at this point.
Can it be someone that has already performed?
Sure, but if there's
someone that hasn't gone yet,
yeah, if you want to do something that hasn't gone yet, it could be one of your favorite artists that you think just, you know, it could be someone that maybe isn't as mainstream that, you know, you think would actually do well live.
This one may be interesting. I might want to get your opinion on it.
Okay.
I think it could be a little outlandish, but Nirvana.
Ooh. I mean, obviously it would be tough to do that one now, but you know, I'm joking.
Obviously. No, but I'm just saying if the band was fully together and they had their normal career,
I think that would have gone well. I think the you know, the grunge rock kind of vibe, I think that would have worked well. I especially in like an outdoor stadium, you get it really kind of. No, I agree with you. I think that would have been a very good one. That would have been a good one. I'm gonna go a little bit more modern here. I'm gonna say that, you know, if there are rumors, I guess, apparently that the Bears might be getting a new stadium in Chicago. So
I did see that.
So, so stick with me here. The Bears might be getting a new stadium in Chicago. So because of that, if that does end up happening, then eventually later on down the line, it's likely that Chicago will get a Super Bowl nod because, new stadiums just.
Well, first of all, it would have to be an indoor stadium. If it's outdoor stadium like Soldier Field, but that will not happen. If Chicago is way too cold.
If there is a new stadium in Chicago, I can almost guarantee you that they're going to make it multi-purpose. They're not going to. Yeah, they're not going to do that again.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like they will make it multi-purpose just for the sake of it, because it's just the easier thing to do now. But regardless of that, I think that if they do get in Chicago, I think that you get the man who just, in my opinion, dropped one of the best albums of the year. You get Kanye West out there, and you get him to. And
are you referring to Donda?
Yes, I'm referring to Donda.
Okay.
And you get one of the most creative minds in music to create a spectacular show. And I think that he would be able to do an amazing job.
We can also get 6ix9ine out there.
Stop. Why would you ever do that? There's so many better Chicago artists too than freaking Tekashi 6ix9ine. No.
I'll be honest, like his music makes absolutely no sense and screams though, but he knows how to hype up a crowd.
He did kind of rule a generation for 2 years.
He
had 2 years.
Yeah, but like his 2 years were like dominant. Like each of his songs have over 1 billion plays. I didn't mean to say 1,000 on Spotify. So like that's a very dominant 2 years. Like, I mean, I don't know if you watched the Nelk Boys or Steve Will Do It.
I know of them. Yeah.
Steve Will Do It is literally best friends with 6ix9ine. Like 6ix9ine is like a good guy now. Like he's actually donated a lot to charity. Like, and this is just not because he doesn't want to get killed and stuff for being a big snitch. I mean, that's kind of dirty of him still, but like he's making up with it. Like he's trying to do like good things, like donate to charity and like you go to charity. He's trying to be a better guy. So I get good perspective to that. But 6ix9ine knows how to hype up a crowd. Now, granted, this may not be.
That isn't listen.
The crowd. The crowd that may be in Chicago may be appropriate for this still, but
and
it's
also
for the TV viewers.
And also, yeah, I'm about to say you don't put Tekashi 6ix9ine on for the Super Bowl. I mean,
but if there's nothing to do on a Sunday night, there's no concert, and you want to have a hype 13 minutes of an actual live performance. Tekashi can't do that.
Oh, I mean,
I've seen it. You and I have seen his videos. I know you've seen his videos.
I've seen his videos. Yes.
It's like an earthquake's happening. Like everyone's just jumping up and down. The whole camera's just shaking.
Yeah. Okay. But in terms of marketability, there's no way in hell that you could market that. Kanye, you can market. There are plenty of other Chicago artists that you can market.
It would be pretty hard because of how crazy he's been the past 3 years.
He's crazy, but at the same time, this is why I think he could work too. Not only obviously he has rap, has rap absolute bangers, on in that area, but he's also made incredible songs like Come to Life off Donda, for example, where he doesn't need to rap to be, to make great music. He also has songs like Runaway where, he has rap elements, but he doesn't need that to make good music. And he's shown that. So he could have rap elements throughout his performance, but he could also have, other types of music as well.
But he's also a menace with the mic. How we've seen him with how menacing he can be with a mic. I mean, went up to Taylor Swift, took the mic out and just started doing his own thing.
There he was trying to be the center of attention. There's no greater center of attention a man can have than at the Super Bowl. So I'm just like, how much?
But you also don't want him to go out and say crazy things or like do crazy actions. Like literally when he had his presidential rally, he was like. I remember he was like screaming into Mike saying like, I almost aborted my daughter.
Oh, Jesus.
Like he was just going nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, this is another funny one. He literally said that Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves.
Oh, that was bad. That was bad.
And it was so bad that there was someone who was recording. He was like, did he really just say that? He's like, no, I'm out of here. That's disrespectful.
Jesus Christ. That's so
But
bad.
They don't want him saying all this crazy stuff. Like imagine
yeah, it would probably be.
I feel like he would be the one artist, we had Janet Jackson with the nipple incident.
Yeah.
I feel like he would be the first one to get naked on stage and just
stop, bro.
I feel like he would do something crazy like that.
He would not. He
literally he's bipolar and he has dual personality disorder.
Stop, bro. Nah.
I think that could happen.
Nah.
Okay.
He'd be.
I could see that happening, unfortunately.
No, but I will say this: we gave our dream picks. You have your disagreements with it, but if you had a nightmare pick to put on a Super Bowl, I can already tell that you have that Kanye might be your nightmare selection. Based on how you were going, but
I mean, Maroon 5 did pretty bad in 2019.
they did do pretty bad. But if there was a band that you absolutely do not want to see on a Super Bowl stage, who would it be? Just because I mean, you can probably appreciate some of Kanye's music, but if there's someone you don't want to see on a stage, who would it be?
NBA Youngboy.
Oh yeah, that would be awful. I would go with Playboy Cardi. Not because I don't not because there's some of his music that I like, but that would not adapt well to a show. You just get him on stage. You just get him on stage and it's just wow. Be terrible. Be awful.
Very bad. Who else? And only Choppa, that would be pretty bad.
Yeah, there would be a lot of bad options to do at a Super Bowl. Not gonna lie.
I would say XXX would be a bad one to have.
Nah,
he's not. But the thing though, they want someone who's hype and has the same energy as like the game, like exciting and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the most part, he's depressive kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he's not really a happy guy to like be around. He's like someone like when you're in your feels.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I kind of understand you with that, but those are some of our picks for Super Bowl dream picks and nightmare picks. Kyle definitely gave me nightmares with his picks. God damn, Kyle. I mean, you really had to go there.
Listen, as much as I love Kanye West, though, he is a menace on the mic. And when you have millions of children and, women and parents watching this and saying like, being like influential type of stuff, because we already got bad stuff already going on with gangs and everything. We don't want a crazy guy with the mic just saying random things to hundreds of millions of people, because that's also on the internet forever.
It is on the internet forever. So
it could be a way for him to make more money, because think about it. He does have $7 billion net worth, and he did it by being crazy. So
yeah,
it has its positives and negatives.
Yeah, absolutely. But that kind of concludes what we have in NFL news. Was able to get a pretty good topic out of that. Now, finally, we do get to baseball news, where I have been so frustrated as a Red Sox fan this year.
Tell me about it.
Listen, this has been the most uncomfortable season to be a Red Sox fan, I think, in recent memory. Now, there have been plenty of seasons where you get to September and they're an afterthought. Now I know it's technically October, but it's not October baseball at this point. But usually you get to this point in the season and the Red Sox are an afterthought. You're not even considering them for playoff contention. That's not really one of those. That's not really when you're worried about them. And then you've had the seasons where they're dominant and they're like the one seed going into the playoffs, and you feel amazing about them. You don't really have too much stress there, other than just, oh, how are we going to do in the postseason? I have not. As a Red Sox fan, I have not had more stress than I've had right now in quite some time. This team has pissed me off, and we were doing so well going into the trade deadline. I mean, but in my mind, we had areas where we needed to improve. And I wasn't asking that we get big guys like Max Scherzer, we go all out for these pitchers. But at the trade deadline, I was hoping we get some quality, depth pieces like Danny Duffy, like where the Dodgers got him for a player to be named later, or Ryan Tepera, where the White Sox got him for, I don't even think that much, like some mid-level prospects in their system. When it came to the Red Sox, they did get Kyle Schwaber, who has surprised me at not being a butcher at first base, and he seems to be okay at the position.
He's done his job.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't been a negative at the position, but the thing that we needed, like 100%, was pitching. We needed pitchers, and we didn't get it. We got these two bums that had 5 and 6 ERAs, and I don't know how the heck we're supposed to expect to do any damage going to the playoffs. Now, we just lost 2 out of 3 to the Baltimore Orioles, and now we're in a tie for the second wild card.
Those games were embarrassing to watch.
I mean,
those should have been blowout wins. Those are free wins.
Those should have been gimmies where we should have been able to make a push and take the number 1 spot in the wild card back from the Yankees.
It also just
was our perfect opportunity.
It also just doesn't make sense though that we shut them out in the second game, but then completely destroyed.
We folded.
Yeah, we folded. How does something bad happen that like compared to that like in 24 hours? How does that happen?
I have
Just
no
do
idea.
the same thing you did last night.
Yeah, I have it all is just falling apart. And it like we were talking about storybook endings and bookends. We were talking about how the Patriots had that. The Red Sox are kind of having that, but in the worst way possible. We started this year.
They're doing it in a way that makes their fans have cardiac arrest.
Well, no, we started this year by getting swept by the Orioles, and this year we do have a series against the Nationals coming up, but we finished this series and pretty much the season by the Orioles taking us out. I don't know if you've seen this, but the Orioles Twitter has been absolutely just on people that just like they've
that's the only positive going for them.
Well, no, they've embraced the spoiler role at this point. They have over 100 losses in the league this year. But I don't know if but on their Twitter, they actually have stuff in their bio saying I am chaos. I am we're gonna they're making memes about being on the spoiler team now and ruining this thing. And
the only thing
that's working. They're taking down the Red Sox and the Red Sox are folding like paper.
Their only legitimate chaos that they would be causing if they were win 3 World Series in a row. This is nothing. The only thing you're doing is just trolling.
Well, yeah, they're trolling, but it's affecting us. The trolling affects us. It's
good thing we have the Rangers. I mean, the Nationals. Yeah, I didn't mean the Rangers.
Yeah, the Nationals.
They're 2 teams that suck. Though.
Yeah, the Nationals are no trust me, they're no 1930s Yankees or whatnot, and they're no real kind of we're not facing murderers row when we go to Washington here. I'm aware of that, but they're technically a better team than the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles suck. They have no talent. They're essentially a minor league franchise right now.
I like Ryan Mountcastle though.
He's fine. He's a good player. But besides that,
the rest of the team,
Ryan Mountcastle shouldn't be the reason that we dropped 2 out of 3 to this team.
Well, he kind of was,
dude.
He kind of did have an effect on one of the games.
He does, but dude, the Baltimore Orioles should not be doing this to us. We should have. I could understand 1 game. If we're losing 2, I mean. It's also poetic. I was saying this, right after, the trade deadline when things were kind of getting, pretty consequential down the stretch.
Yeah, he had a 3-run home run last.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna hurt. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Ryan Mountcastle doesn't have an effect. He's a great player. But
and Mullins, I forgot about him.
Yeah. Oh, Mullins is good too. So
Cedric.
So respect to him as well. But when it comes down the stretch, I was talking with, I believe it was Braden Ventura at the time, and I was talking with him on the show. And we were saying that, this team kind of reminds a lot of people of the 2011 Red Sox. Maybe not as much talent, but the way that they're going about this season. And they were really high at one point. They were really kind of, going good. And eventually they just fell flat and collapsed. And, ironically enough, who did the Red Sox collapse against in 2011? The Baltimore Orioles. They ended up losing them in that last game when Carl Crawford dropped that line drive. And the rest was history, and it was one of the greatest collapses in baseball history.
My man sold. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew deep down he still loved the Tampa Bay Rays and wanted to see them succeed.
Stop. Oh, my God. Then
how did Tampa Bay come out on top in all that mess?
Oh, you look at everything that went wrong with 2011. That's a whole other episode. I can't even get into all the problems that happened with the 2011 Red Sox. But this Red Sox team is looking like it right now. This is a borderline collapse that we're seeing. I mean, it's not even borderline. It's a collapse that we're seeing. So, but
think about it. Us as fans at the beginning of the season, because I like to keep my expectations from the beginning of the season true. We did not expect this team to have as big as a number of games won, over 500. They have 25 games over 500.
Oh no, we're a decent team, and we're gonna have over 90.
We thought we were losing. We were gonna have a losing record, but maybe 10 different.
Listen, I'm not saying the Red
differential.
Listen, the Red Sox aren't bad by any means. They're gonna be
our bullpen's atrocious.
No, I know. In terms of record, I mean, we're gonna be a 90-win franchise, and we're gonna have 90 wins this year. But unfortunately,
we need to officially. We can't be saying that because then we'll jinx. I believe we've jinxed because I said. The Red Sox would have 3 free wins against the Orioles. That did not happen. So I'm it's not saying we are going to have 90 wins because I feel like we'll jinx I'm going to be jinxing them again.
The Red Sox,
you might have already done it.
They feel jinxed enough, in my opinion. The Reds, I don't know if you can jinx the Red Sox any more than they've been jinxed this year. They've been
Adam Ottavino will find a new way. Trust me. That man's atrocious.
It's such a mess. But man, I got to tell you, if Boston manages to screw this up, where we went from being from having the division lead to, if Toronto catches up and things go according to plan, we could have gone from I believe July, we could have gone from the division lead to technically fourth place in the division. And I know still at a good record, but
do you want to know who's pitching tonight?
Who's pitching tonight?
Rodriguez.
Yeah, we're screwed. It's been a good season, Red Sox fans. I hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you enjoyed this season. It's been an absolute mess of a season.
Oh, let's see who's pitching tomorrow, though. We got to find out.
Oh boy.
Undecided.
That's
not
that's
good.
always lovely to hear. Oh my God.
Undecided. So right now we're going by a day-by-day basis. This is no set schedule. I don't know if they really want to move around the rotation,
but man,
right now we're slated to play not the All-Star game, wild card game, and that's only going to be off of 1 day's rest. We're going to be playing it on Tuesday.
Well, technically, as of right now, we're going to have to play a game 163 to even get into the wild card against the Mariners, and then from there we're going to have to.
Oh God!
And then from there we're going to have to play a wild card on top of that.
I expect the Yankees to not do good because you got to understand they're playing the Rays. And the Rays find stupid ways to win. I went to the Red Sox Rays game that happened on Labor Day. They got out to 7-1. The Red Sox got out to 7-1 in the third inning.
Yeah.
Progressively choked it each inning until the extras when that home run was hit. And I have never been as pissed off as a Red Sox fan. I made a promise to myself that I would not go to any of the games the rest of the year. I don't care how far they went into the playoffs. I don't even care if it's the home clinching win to the World Series. I ain't going. They pissed me off. I will happily spend all my money at going to the Bruins or going to the Patriots games for the rest of the year. I do not care.
Really? I mean, it's been such a frustrating team to watch, and I hope that they're
playing with my emotions like it's shoelaces.
What?
It's pulling the strings.
Oh yeah, okay.
They're pulling my heartstrings.
Fair enough. But let me say this: if the Red Sox do not make it to the playoffs and they do collapse, it's just on the table possibilities. This isn't a jinx or anything like that. It's just saying if this is to happen, Kyle, what do you want the Red Sox to do front office wise? Are you petitioning for Alex Cora to be fired?
No, it's only one season he's really done bad. He's only done
missed
bad
the playoffs in 2019. He has a cheating scandal hanging on his head.
Yeah, the cheating scandal that I won in the World Series. It worked. We won. That was the most dominant Red Sox.
I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I want to get your opinion on it because that's what a bunch of people will be.
What is he gonna get fired after this season? No,
they brought him.
Our expectations were to have a losing season. He not only, got over 500, he did it by a huge margin. It's just because of how competitive our division is why I think Red Sox fans should be even grateful that we even had a winning season.
Listen, I'm grateful for the fact that we had a winning season, and I'm not putting this really on Cora more than anything. I'm putting this on our
bullpen coach and our bullpen.
Well, more
and our owners.
I'm putting this on Chaim Bloom. Chaim Bloom
and LeBron James.
Oh yeah, well that makes me so mad. But Chaim Bloom pisses me off. Listen, he's probably a very nice guy. I have no issues with him personally as a human being. I really don't. But I don't like the philosophy that he's going with as the GM of the Boston Red Sox.
What's also my problem though is we also had the opportunity to get pitching at the All-Star deadline.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about big name.
Yeah.
I figured they would have used LeBron to go and talk to them. As because we've seen it before happen.
LeBron owns Fenway Sports Group. He's never going to do bidding on behalf of the Red Sox, Kyle. He will
not unless he gets paid big money.
Yeah, so he's never going to do bidding on behalf of the Red Sox. I'm sorry. It's never going to happen. For a Boston team, LeBron will never do that bidding. He doesn't care. He has vested interest and he has he's made financial decisions.
So essentially what you're trying to tell me is that he's only in this for just picking up a paycheck weekly in case for some reason he was to break his legs and had to get him amputated of all, he's just never allowed to touch a basketball court again.
So, I mean, you could have just said LeBron is in this for the money. And I would have been,
he's in this.
And I would have said, yeah, like he always is. I mean, are you surprised? No, there's no surprise.
Selfish bastard.
Jesus Christ.
He is. He's selfish.
Oh my God.
He whined. Have you seen if you saw when he played in the first round, he was whining, complaining. You asked for everything and you're still not grateful. Come on. No wonder why our generation is pathetic. Come on. Did you see the TikTok trend where like freshmen entering college, they drop out before even school started? Did you see that trend?
That's so bad.
Come on. What do you think? Come on, LeBron. Look at what you're doing to these kids. You're ruining their future.
You're just throwing so many accusations at LeBron. I'm a LeBron hater, but this is actually hilarious.
I don't like LeBron. I mean, considering that I'm a Harden fan.
You're a Harden fan?
Yeah, I'm a Houston Rockets fan.
Oh my God. Ew. You're like Jake.
That's why I'm best friends with Jake.
Well, he actually just switched his alliances to the Celtics. Yeah, sucks to suck. Now
that's fine. Our team's doing good. I like the way the Rockets are going, but we'll save the NBA talk for another podcast.
Yeah, that's for another time. But let me say this before we go. I don't like the way Chaim Bloom operates the Red Sox. For the way, like, the people have been talking about the way the Rays have, and apparently the Rays are having a ton of success. All of their minor,
it's just lucky success.
But I'm talking like structurally. All of their minor league teams have won their championships, and I think like the Double-A team was a game away from doing so. And they're talking about how the Rays have the best division in sports, and they're like Moneyball is working, and trust me, I in instances where in small market teams, Moneyball is a useful strategy to win. But to this day, and again, the Rays were close, and they could still do it this year and knock our socks off, but there's still never been a team to win just based off that strategy. And I'll even throw this Rays team in there because they had to go out and get a guy like Nelson Cruz, and I don't know if he's cheap or whatnot, but they still had to go out and add
up. I'd say around 9 million. I think.
Yeah.
He
so
is.
I mean, it's
because
it's borderline, but listen, the people talk about the movie Moneyball and how great of a story it was, and it's like, oh, the 2002 Oakland A's, the Moneyball A's. Oh my God,
they still lost in the end.
They didn't win. They didn't get any further than they did the previous year. So listen, you can build.
I will never understand how that movie got like why as good as a movie.
It's a good movie. I enjoy the movie, but I'm talking about the strategy.
But in the end, they're just glorified losers.
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
they didn't get any further than they needed.
It's like a participation trophy.
The closest team the closest champions that you can essentially attribute a Moneyball strategy, in my opinion, to is the 2015 Kansas City Royals. They're the closest team that you can say that because they ended up bringing up guys like Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer, Alcides Escobar. But when you look at them, they still had to go out and get Johnny Cueto at the trade deadline. They still had to make a big move and get a big piece and get a big name. They couldn't just do it off the small guys in the organization.
You could also say the same for the Cubs.
The Cubs,
because they did. I mean, besides the 100 years of not winning the World Series,
Cubs, though, they were able to get guys like Jason Hayward, and I know he wasn't as big of a piece, but they were.
Well, I'm just saying, but they were in years beforehand. They just lived every day as a struggle.
Yeah, but that's just because they didn't understand how to run a baseball team until Epstein got there. But
Theo Epstein, you traitor.
Yeah, I mean, it was. They just didn't know how to run an organization until he got there. But, they were able to go out and sign big names like John Lester. They got Jason Hayward. They were able to sign names and go after guys. The Rays are not able to do that, and they were able to make it the World Series.
Because they don't have the budget.
Credit to them. But in my opinion, you still need to go get a big piece in order to win. The Red Sox, if you want to do a Moneyball strategy, listen to me. If you want to do a Moneyball strategy in order to, help the Red Sox kind of ease some of the financial troubles that they've gotten into with contracts like Pablo Sandoval and Hanley Ramirez, and try to say like, all right, we need to make some smart financial decisions here. I get that. But when you're still competing like this, and you can do a little bit of both, where it's like, where you get guys like Kike Hernandez and Garrett Whitlock, and you make smart decisions like this in Rule 5 drafts and free agency, where you get, good deals. You can do that and still be successful, but you do need to go get a big piece now and then when you're in the driver's seat going into the playoffs. You need to do it. And the fact that Chaim didn't, it's the reason that we're in this situation right now. If we went out and we got some decent pitchers, I feel like we'd be in a much better situation than we are right now. So, looking at that, I don't know.
Well, it's good that the Rays have a low budget team, because that allows them to take advantage of the success, the young talent that is out there. They're the first to get there. They know how to properly conduct. They basically get first dibs on the players.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox, Yankees, are the teams that are like, the big money spenders.
Oh yeah.
They get everyone's sloppy seconds. It's true though.
It's fair enough. It's fair enough.
The Red Sox did it. The Minnesota Twins had David Ortiz. We got Minnesota Twins as sloppy seconds. It would have been, we might have won even more World Series. We could have won 2003 World Series. I mean, if we had David Ortiz sooner. That was his first year at Boston. But I feel like if we had him originally from the beginning, we could have 2003 as his World Series. They could have been one of the few teams to go back to back.
2003, though, we needed some more pieces. We needed Schilling, and we needed more pieces to come in that would have made the decision.
And
but
Wakefield not to throw it right down the middle to Aaron Boone.
Yeah, that's not a good decision either. But I'm hoping that the Red Sox can pull it together in this final stretch. Maybe have a nice postseason run while we're at it. And, at least let it be entertaining. I want to have the Red Sox in this year's postseason. I mean,
same here.
This will be the first time, if they get in, it'll be the first time since 2018 that they've been in the playoffs, which seems weird because it doesn't seem that long ago. But when you think about it, you think of 2019, they missed out by a couple games, the pandemic year. And now this year, if they're to miss the playoffs, it would be 3 years since the last time they made the playoffs. So they got to capitalize right now.
Listen, the biggest thing right now, when the Red Sox lose, I'm confident they won't win. You could probably agree with me when they do make the playoffs. If they do, I gotta keep that positive energy. 3 games to go in this season, longest 3 games. But Boston knows how to fight. They know how to fight. They're not gonna go down easy. They have top 5 offense though, but their bullpen is bottom 5. They gotta hope that their pitchers can throw gems.
I don't know if they have to break out the yellow jerseys again or what the heck they have to do, but they have to.
I don't know. The last time I saw them in the yellow jerseys, they did not play that good.
They were on a streak before, so I don't know what it's going to take, but they got to do something.
The Yankees really threw the water on that fire.
Yeah, but they're going to have to do something to get into it. But Kyle, I think it's unfortunately time to say that we are now down to the wire, which means that we're going to do a quick little run through of what we talked about in this episode, and then we'll send you guys on your way into the weekend. Obviously, welcome to Kyle Finn in the show. Kyle, my God, you have some scorching hot takes and some scorching hot opinions. I was glad to get you in, man.
That's why Stephen A. Smith is as famous as he is. He says random things out of his mouth.
Very true. But, obviously during the show today, we were able to talk about Brady versus Bill Belichick, as well as some of the, as well as some of the storylines that haven't gotten a lot of attention. We got to talk about AB returning to Foxborough for the first time since, his meltdown in 2019, Brady being set to pass the all-time passing yards record, as well as Gronk's return. We talked about the Super Bowl halftime show, including Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Snoop Dogg. Can't wait for that. That's going to be a heck of a show. We talked about our dream and nightmare picks for Super Bowl halftime show performances, as well as the Red Sox kind of being in a tailspin right now. Hopefully they can pull out of it, but that's all we have from Down to the Wire. But if you guys are not watching us and following us on, streaming platforms and social media yet, what the heck are you guys doing? We're available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. But the main hub you can reach us through is our Instagram. You can follow that at down.tothewire. Again, at down.tothewire. Kyle, is there anything that you personally want to plug yourself?
Well, I was going to carry off, following. Why not follow? It's free. We're doing this for your entertainment.
Absolutely. So, can't wait to do more episodes here at Bryant this year. It's been a great semester so far, but from Down to the Wire, I'm Brian Costa.
My name is Kyle Finn.
And we will see you guys next time. Take care.